Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Tailgate Talk. We're your hosts, David and Joe. Joe's the head of the people.
Howdy.
First week of the season for you, Joe. Nick's still on vacation out in sunny San Diego doing some scouting. We're blowing through the math budget already.
I was just about to say we're gonna have none left for my Notre Dame jersey.
I mean, yep, it's rough. Who are you? Do you even know who your quarterback is yet?
Yeah, CJ Carr just got announced the starter this past week. Um, little, I'm very happy about it. I'm glad that Notre Dame, like both players, seem to have risen above each expectation. I think even with him winning the starting job, it all comes down to what happens in Miami, at Hard Rock Stadium the first Sunday of the week. I'm excited to see what happens. I think he can either relinquish the job or really put a stranglehold on that job with that performance. I think even though he was named the starter, that's not finalized throughout the season because they both did phenomenal. And at this point, like Notre Dame is on track to have the expectation to win the national title, right? So whoever's going to give you that best shot at quarterback, because they're both young, they're both inexperienced. You have the defense, you have the wide receivers, you have the running backs. It really all comes down to quarterback, and whoever the young guy is that's willing to step up and make the team better around them, I think is going to be fluent throughout the season, depending on that Miami game.
Yep. Clearly, I haven't paid any attention to it. I was just like, "Hey, you guys pick
CJ
one yet,
Carr,
or what?"
he's the
There
grandson
you
of
go.
Lloyd Carr from Michigan, who won a national title there. He was a head coach, I
Any
think.
relation to Derek and David Carr?
No, no relation.
Maybe that works in your favor.
Yeah, well, this kid was a five-star, so we'll see. And he didn't attend Fresno State, so that's how I know he has no relation.
Well, we don't got Nick this week, but we do have some picks. Mainly with week 0, we're going to talk about conference champions for the Power Four. So we can go ahead and get right into it. And let's start off with give me your SEC pick, Joe.
So my SEC pick was actually Texas. I really think Arch Manning is going to have one hell of a year. I think it's Sark's year. I think that they've been to the playoff, right? Even though they didn't get all the way where they should have last year. Um, I think that I think that team is on pace to make that next step forward. So Texas is my SEC pick. They seem to have an easy schedule just like last year. And like I said, I'll always believe in the Mannings. I grew up in a household where my family was Giants fans, so when I see a jersey with the last name Manning on it, I'm gonna give them the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, I mean, I was looking at Texas's schedule. I've got it pulled up here. They start off the season number one ranked, playing the AP ranked but three, but coaches ranked number two, Ohio State. That's a way to start off the football season, right? It's going to be
Yeah,
electric. Nick's got Texas picked as well as his champion of the SEC.
and
I'm going a bit of a different route. Go ahead.
even if they drop one of those early games, we've seen it with Notre Dame last year. It's better to drop one of the games early and then rebound throughout the rest of the year to make the playoffs and have a go further inside the playoffs. So, even if they lose to number 3 Ohio State in the coaches poll, right? Because I think the national poll came out, but I only saw what the coaches posted. I think they're still on pace to do well.
I mean, they got Ohio State, then they have San Jose State, UTEP, Sam Houston as that's their September schedule. So
Yeah.
you get through the Ohio State game, you're sitting at 4-0 before a TBD date. All right, I guess it's not a date, but just time where they're gonna then go to the swamp at Florida. That'll be interesting. Then they got Oklahoma. Like they get into the gauntlet there. Kentucky, Mississippi State, Vandy, and then they go
Yeah, but
to Georgia.
Kentucky and Mississippi State are bottom feeders in the SEC. I know the SEC top to bottom, like I don't think there's really a bottom like the ACC has, which we'll get to in a little bit, but Like I think that the SEC, I mean, anybody can make a name for themselves, but I don't believe in Kentucky and I don't believe in Mississippi State. I know Mississippi State got a bunch of new people in there, and they seem to have really hit the transfer portal hard. But I mean, those that's an easier SEC schedule rather than getting like a Georgia and Alabama.
I was
I
just
mean,
getting to that.
Oklahoma's going to be tough, but
Joe, I was just getting to that. They go to Georgia this year in the regular season.
yeah. But then again, like we don't know how Georgia's going to be. Like it doesn't seem like Georgia's that big bad wolf that they have been in previous years, where like they're going to go undefeated. Definitely, like they're still a great team, and obviously they still have the recruits and everything else. But do we really know, like, or is the expectation like title or bust for them? I mean, that might be the expectation, but I don't know if that's actually the case.
Yeah, I mean, I've got Georgia as my pick for the SEC. I
Yeah.
think that that game in Athens in the regular season is going to be great. I like Georgia in that game because they're at home, and then you've got Texas having to finish it off against Arkansas, and then right for Thanksgiving they're playing Texas A&M. They got them at home. There's a lot. I think the schedule is very favorable for Texas. Um, but I really, my gut feeling is that I feel like Kirby Smart has shown it doesn't matter who has a quarterback. They've got a defense all the time. They're gonna be able to run the ball. Um, and I just I've got a gut feeling that I think Georgia's gonna be able to pull out that win in the SEC title game.
Well, they're really high on Stockton, and I think they're really happy to get rid of
Mr. Beck.
Mr. Beck. I think they're really happy to shed that dead weight off of their team as they see it, or as that fan base sees it. But we'll see. I mean, throughout this year, I think the SEC is one of the more interesting conferences, obviously, like they usually are. And I'm curious to see how it all winds up shaping out because, like I said, I don't think that even the bottom teams are really bottom teams. I think that that conference from top to bottom can really be something. So I'm excited to see how it turns out.
I mean, you look at it this way. Texas does not play Tennessee. They do not play Alabama. They don't play Ole Miss. They don't play LSU. Like
And
they're avoiding a good.
LSU's the one that I would fear the most. I mean, I know Brian Kelly has not been able to win big games, but this is
um,
he has
My point
he has the
here is,
quarterback to do it, and they always seems to have defense. Like maybe Brian Kelly starts to put it together here.
we'll see. I mean, but you look at the way the SEC schedule is set up. Like you're not going to have a head-to-head game against Alabama or Tennessee. Georgia will. Georgia doesn't play LSU. Like LSU's not playing Georgia or Texas this year.
Yeah,
Like I'm really interested to see how the tiebreakers work into this because you could that makes the Texas game against Georgia that much more pivotal because even if you have that as your one loss, and then you're looking at or you don't have the tiebreaker over Georgia, and you may not even be playing that weekend then.
yeah,
It's like it's just very interesting. And so that's why, with it being at Georgia, I think they have a better chance of winning that game than Texas. I like them in that game. And then you get to the SEC championship game. I feel like Georgia's got the edge of making sure that they're in the game.
right.
Because who knows how it goes with Alabama and Tennessee this year? Who knows how LSU looks? I mean, I haven't even looked at LSU's schedule and who they have. They
Well,
have,
I
let's
think
see.
Tennessee is fascinating too because I love Josh Heupel, but I just don't know about that quarterback from App State. I mean, we really don't know what he's going to be. He has the quarterback's best friend in Josh Heupel, but do we really know what production he's going to be with?
Hey, what? Like you look at it, and LSU doesn't play Tennessee either. Who the hell does Tennessee play? They play Bama, Oklahoma, Florida, and Georgia.
Yeah,
I could see Tennessee going in with one loss, and they're probably if you put it in this situation where Tennessee has the one loss against Georgia, and Georgia beats
Does
or
Tennessee
or
play Ole
say
Miss?
they beat Georgia, and then they've got they don't play Ole Miss.
No.
Tennessee doesn't play Ole Miss.
Oh wow.
Their
So
schedule
they really
is
got off scot free.
Syracuse, Eastern Tennessee State, Georgia, UAB, Mississippi State, Arkansas, Bama, Kentucky, Oklahoma, New Mexico State, Florida, Vanderbilt.
Okay, so I thought they played Ole Miss at some point.
Nope. Georgia does. And I think
Okay.
Georgia low-key has a tougher schedule,
I
but
thought Georgia had the hardest schedule last year, and it seems like they got that again this year, which I was shocked about.
yeah. So it's going to be interesting, but we can talk about them more as we keep going. Let's go ahead and jump around to another conference. Joe, who do you like in the Big Ten?
So I'm gonna go against everything that I've said, I think, since I've made my tailgate talk debut here, but I'm gonna explain why. I'm taking Penn State here. I think they're the most all around talented team. I think this is almost like my shot in the dark to if James Franklin doesn't do it this year, he's never going to do it. And he has two running backs that came back this year that probably could have left and been top 3 round picks in the NFL. He has Drew Aller, who's a 5 star, who's been in that system a while. He got a bunch of transfers in the wide receiver room. He always seems to have a great defense. Um, so like if he doesn't do it this year, then I will never ever take them again. But I'm taking Penn State here. I think this is the year they finally put it all together because they almost have to. Like this is their last gasp, and it's time to beat the big boys in Michigan and Ohio State. And if you can't, you can't. But you're really capping your ceiling here. So I'm going to take James Franklin to finally do what he has not been able to do and win the Big Ten here. And while I think Ohio State is great, I think Ohio State has the two best players in the country by far, in Jeremiah Smith and Caleb Downs. I think that Penn State's just better everywhere else, in my opinion. So we'll see, but that's who I'm taking.
Yeah, and Nick picked Ohio State. Ohio State hosts Penn State this year. I think that gives them an edge up there. I think Nick's probably thinking the same lines of, they got Jeremiah Smith. Penn State has that history of with James Franklin of not being able to win those big games at the end of the year.
Yeah.
I can 100% see Penn State making the Big Ten championship game, but they have to play, I think, the other two best teams in the conference in Oregon and
Yes.
Ohio State. They host Oregon at the end of September, and then they're at Ohio State in I don't know when the beat to start off November. So I think that it's manageable, but I trust Dan Lanning at Oregon way more than I trust James Franklin. And so
Yeah.
my pick,
There's there's a lot of trust issues here in this pick, but I'm putting my trust in the talent rather than the coach because I you know this. Everyone who's listened to us since I came on here, we you can go back in the archives, right, and pull up how many times I've said James Franklin is the Brian Kelly of the Big Ten. Like he can't win the big games, but he just like I think this year the talent overcomes him and his ability to win those big games. And I think you're going to see a hungry Drew Aller. Drew Aller, don't forget, like the last time we saw him, he threw an interception to seal the game to lose to Notre Dame. I think you're going to, and he has better wide receivers. I think that defense is still going to be decent, like it usually is. Um, and then I love Singleton and Allen, I believe his name is, the two running backs. I think they're the best two-headed monster in the country in a running back room anywhere. So I think they'll be able to kind of do what Michigan did, possibly, minus stealing the signs of just being able to ground and pound it and take the air out of football a lot. And then when they need to, Drew Aller can go over the top and toss it around. But I think it's going to be a run centric offense, and I'm excited to see it because those kids are electric.
Yeah, I mean they don't they Penn State has both Ohio State and Oregon on their schedule. The Buckeyes and Oregon don't play each other this year. I feel like Penn State's got the two tests, and I feel like they're going to drop one of those games.
Yeah.
And so I'm gonna pick is Oregon. Nick's pick is Ohio State. Your pick's Penn State. I think it's gonna be one of those three teams, and that all it's probably two of them playing for it.
Yes.
But you've got some teams like Indiana. Indiana plays Oregon and Penn State, and I think that they could be a tough out as well.
I
So
just I just think that after last year, the way they played Notre Dame and the way they played Ohio State, like I think I might be a little bit out on the Kurt Signetti train, hype train per se. And there's still a question mark at quarterback and the kid from California who transferred in. I just I don't know if he's going to be the same thing as Curtis Rourke was. I mean, Rourke was unbelievable, but can you do that twice? Can lightning strike twice in the same spot? I don't know. And he kind of seems to play from behind in like a safe manner a lot when he plays these big teams. So like I think they might be able to go to the playoff again, but I don't know how much I'm in on them possibly being able to win the Big Ten.
yep.
So
Well,
that's my Indiana take. I mean,
I
we can dive deeper into that throughout the season, but I think I might be
yeah.
as much as a believer as I was in Kurt. I don't know if Signetti's like going to be able to reproduce that same thing again this year.
He has a tendency of showing up in some big games here and there, but also dropping some. So I 100% could see it happen. I could see it also not going their way, but like you said, we're gonna have to see how the season starts to shake out. But I could definitely see them be a hard out. But that's the SEC in the Big Ten, the Power Two, as everyone likes to look at them, and where most people are expecting the national champion coming out of. But let's go ahead and shift over to the Big 12, which is become also the Pac-12 in my opinion, with all
Yeah.
the Western teams they've got. And let me know what you think about who's going to be pulling out of that conference this year.
So I was actually between two teams here, and I know you took the other one because I saw it in the text message, but I am going to go with the coach I believe in a little bit more and the quarterback I believe in a little bit more in Arizona State. So sorry, don't mind my dog here. But
Or
I
you can
I believe
give her a spot, give her a spotlight.
this is our dog Winnie. So she's a golden retriever and she's very lovable. So she loves to give kisses. But she's amazing. All right, all right,
Winnie, say hi to the people.
all
Come
right.
on, Winnie, say hi to the people. Oh, she's ready to make some picks.
Yeah, yeah, she is. So I think Dillingham and I think Sam Levitt are the guys to come out with this and pull it out. But I think this league's just I think this is the biggest toss up in the country of the Power Four. I think it could go any which way, and I think it's going to be down to the end again, just like the last year was. So, but I'll take Levitt and I'll take the coach of Dillingham, and I think that they get it done.
hmm Nick picked Texas Tech. I also like
That's who
them a
I
lot
was
too.
between. Yep. That was the
You-
other team. I don't know how much I don't know how much I love their coach. He hasn't proven that he'll be able to get it done yet. And I just don't know about like their talent level per se. I know that they have a great talent level always, but like they always have
My,
kids who are gonna get
yeah,
drafted in the top two rounds of the NFL, but they never seem to be able to produce that into wins. So we'll see. But I think this is the conference that's the most wide open.
my concern for Texas Tech is that every big game I think that they have is on the road. They got to go
Yeah.
to Houston. They're at Arizona State. They're at Kansas State. They're at West Virginia to end the year. Like I think those are tough teams, and I can't go against the Sun Devils uniforms. Those things are just vibes and aura alone that gives them like two extra wins.
Yeah, you can't go against Pat Tillman.
No, you can't. All right. Well, with that, we'll move on to the last Power Four conference, the one that Nick and I probably know the most about out of all four of them. So I feel pretty confident here. We got the ACC. So Joe,
So
go
I
ahead
think
and
this is I think this is the most sealed conference. Like I think this is the exact opposite of the Big 12 where everything is wide open. Like I think everyone knows who's going to win this conference, right? Um I think Clemson has the pedigree to do it. I think that they have the players and the talent to do it. I think Klubnik takes a step forward like we've not seen before. I think Garrett Riley finally settles in this year. But most of all, I love that defense. They have like four kids on that defense who are all projected to go within the first round of the NFL draft next year. And that reminds me of like the old Clemson teams, the ones that I used to be scared of when Notre Dame had a home and home against them. Um, so I think Clemson's my pick here. I know Clemson's probably going to be your picks, not to ruin the surprise here. But I think Dabo has been waiting and waiting and waiting, right, to keep a stranglehold on that conference again. And I think this is the year that he finally reassumes his dominance in the ACC. And one last thing, I know we didn't really ask for a surprise team, but I think UNC is the surprise team here. I love the Bill Belichick thing going on down there. The recruiting is I don't know if you've been keeping up with it, but he has been recruiting his butt off this past 2 weeks. I know that's not for this year, but more for next. But I think he's got something brewing down in Chapel Hill, and I'm very curious to see how it turns out this year because it's either going to be a boom or it's just going to be a giant bust. And I think he's going to be interesting. He's going to make the ACC very, very interesting.
yeah, I mean, with Clemson scheduled, they got to go to UNC this year.
Yeah, like that's going to
Who
be a tough
knows?
game, and I don't think anyone's expecting it to be, but I think that's going to be a very tough
I,
game.
I, I think I think we're gonna be able to tell that that's October 4th. I think we're gonna be able to tell after the first 2 weeks kind of how UNC's looking. And if UNC looks like they're hitting their stride, that can definitely be a tough game. The game that I think everyone, especially all the Clemson fans, have circled is the Friday night game against Louisville in Louisville.
Yeah, Miller
I don't like
Moss.
Friday night games. Like we lost to Louisville last year. Like this is a big game.
Honestly,
Um,
I think that they could finish second in the ACC, and I think they could easily make the playoff this year. But it all counts on Miller Moss. I really do believe that. We
yeah,
haven't seen a quarterback at Louisville since Lamar Jackson. And
yeah,
I
and
know they're not
like
the same player, but I mean talent. He's the close. Miller Moss is the closest thing we've seen to him.
the one thing I don't love about Louisville is their schedule. I mean, you got to go to Pitt. That's always
Yeah.
tough.
And
You're at Miami.
Eli Holston's a dog. I bought in super early on him last year. I think they're
Mhm.
underrated too.
Yep. But you got to go to Miami, middle of October. Then you're going to Virginia Tech. That's always a tough game to play, especially if that's a night game. They host Clemson, but then right after Clemson, they have to go to SMU. Like that ACC schedule, I don't think really gives them the easiest path.
I think SMU
You're
has a down year this year. That's my bold take.
I could see it, but I mean they've got Jennings back. Like
I don't love
I think
Jennings though.
I don't think they're gonna catch guys off guard the way that they did this year, but I think
Yeah,
that they're still tough, and I think we're still trying to figure out how this this time zone difference still impact. Like when we saw when teams were coming across the country to play, they weren't doing as well unless you're Miami and you get help from the refs when you're playing Cal and Stanford.
sure.
But I mean, you look at that, like they having to go to the to Texas, like Clemson doesn't have to deal with that this year. Um, I like that. I prefer that over everything, but it's just I don't know. I don't love Louisville's schedule, and
How
I still see them probably
how
being the number two or number three team. But if they beat Clemson, I'm going to be sweating out the next 2 weeks because that's poor timing to lose at that point in the season. And you're going to need another Syracuse helping you out by beating Miami on the final weekend, kind of thing.
So Syracuse is another team I wanted to mention. I think that they're going to be on the upswing this year. Obviously, Angeli from Notre Dame transferred in there. I think he's one hell of a player. Curious to see how he kind of fits into that system and what um, their coach can do because he's phenomenal in my opinion. I think he's an amazing recruiter. Let me pose to you this question: how bad do you think Wake Forest is going to be? Because I think they're going to be abominable.
It's tough. I mean, they again,
I don't even
yeah,
know who they have
it's.
at quarterback. I know nothing really about them, but I just because I know nothing about them, I feel like that's very bad news for Wake.
I mean, so they start off the season with Kennesaw State and Western Carolina.
Okay,
They need
so
to win both
nobody's.
those games.
Yeah,
Then they have NC State, they have Georgia Tech. Like their first they spend the first month at home. I think that's gonna give them the best chance to settle in. But
okay,
NC State as your first ACC game is tough. Georgia Tech, I think, that's my sleeper pick of a team
yeah.
that's going to be really good this year with Haynes King. I love that kid. I don't enjoy that we're going to have to play him this year,
When do
but
you guys play them? Middle end?
early, early, like third week.
Oh boy. Well, hopefully he's not too settled in because they're a team that once they settle in and they figure out their identity, it's tough to beat them.
I'd be surprised if they, because I think they host Georgia this year. I think that could go to another
Yeah,
multi-overtime game, if not a win for Georgia Tech. Like
yeah.
calling that right now, that could ruin Georgia's season.
They're gonna pack their
Their
lunch
field.
boxes just like they did last year.
Yep. But yeah, Wake Forest, I don't. It's not the worst schedule. I mean, they don't have to play Clemson.
Who is their
They
quarterback?
don't. I don't even know. Let's look. Their roster says QB is maybe Chris Denson. No, he's a freshman. No, that's Clemson's. Why is it Clemson's when I'm trying to look at Wake Forest?
Because like I didn't even see anybody from like recruiting wise who's really like committed there.
So they have a senior Robbie Ashford. I
Okay,
think
from
he's
from
probably their
Auburn.
quarterback.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, he's the oldest guy in the room. I'm assuming he's probably going to be the
Yeah,
starter to
he's
start the
probably going to
season.
start. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I Wake Forest has such a nuanced offense with how they run the mesh and everything that it you don't have the right guy around the helm, it's tough. So
Do you
I don't think they have the defense.
let me ask you this, and this is my I guess this is one of my closing thoughts, but um do you have a group of five surprise pick or anyone you want to shout out in the group of five? Because I do have a team that I'm thinking of.
You go ahead first. I got to think about it.
I think UNLV is my surprise group of five pick. They got the old coach from Florida and Mississippi State. They have Calandria, who's transferred in from Virginia at quarterback. They have Orgy from Michigan, who transferred in at quarterback. I think the talent level is just kind of booming out in Las Vegas. So I think they're like my group of five shout out. I haven't done much research on the other position groups, but I think their quarterback room is phenomenal and I love their coach. So they're kind of my shout out to see what happens with them.
I mean, Boise State's the only team that's ranked in the top 25 right now. I think
Yeah.
they're going to be good. Tulane is always tough. I agree. UNLV is going to be tough. I'm interested to see James Madison this year. I th
Yeah, yeah.
I've got a vibe. I've just got a vibe about him. Like
So
I
my
don't know.
vibe team, I don't know if this is weird or not, but my vibe team is actually UCF. See how Scott Frost does back at the team that he should have won a national title with in their eyes. I mean, he had a bad run at
They hung the
Nebraska.
banner. They're fine.
They did hang a banner, and they got the T-shirts too. But I'm
You
curious to
see,
see how
Auburn
that team
claimed four
does.
more national champion this year.
I did not. No, I did not see that.
They claimed four more for their history books.
Sure. Well, let them revel in their national titles that they claimed.
Yeah, it. Ugh. Well, you know what? We've got just a couple minutes left, Joe. I know you didn't get a chance last week. You were off honeymooning after your wedding. Congratulations, by the way. Look at
Thank
that,
you,
showing
sir.
off the bling. Um, you want to give your thoughts on the Michigan NCAA or anything like that, or you just gonna let that sit for now?
I don't really have much thoughts on it. I think that they kind of got off scot-free on it. I mean, like it didn't really affect the program. It's not going to affect the people that actually did the alleged incidents. Like Harbaugh's in the NFL. He's not going to come back. The only way he would come back was for his alma mater, and he already did that at Michigan, which is where he got in trouble in the first place. Um, Connor Stallions is not coming back anytime soon. Like, I think the people that did it are not the ones getting punished. So I don't really think it did much. I think it was kind of lame, the verdict, in my
I
opinion.
know, I think that's definitely the issue with it taking as long as it did, that you're not able to adequately punish those that were involved.
And I
And so
almost
now
feel bad.
you're in a spot
I
where
almost
they're
I almost feel bad for Sharon Moore. Like he got the crappy end of the stick here. Like
he's the
everyone
one who
else,
was deleting text too. He was doing
yeah,
it.
yeah, but everyone else
Wasn't
kind
he
of
the
just
one who threw a phone in the lake?
yeah. No, he started deleting text messages allegedly. But I mean, like I almost feel bad for him because everyone else was like, "Hey, we're out of here. Here's the head coaching job," and he was like, "Yeah, I'll take it." And now he's like the one getting the
They got
brunt
to
of
pick and
everything.
choose which games he's getting suspended for.
Yeah, that's
So
true.
they're suspending him for a random game next season.
Yeah, that
Rather
sounds about
like
right.
it's
That's
all
how it always
jaked up.
works,
It's
though.
all stupid. It's garbage. I'm gonna get back into it again, I'm sure, but
Yeah,
screw
that's how
them.
it always goes. Whenever there's a cheating scandal, you always see like they're gonna play um like I don't even know who the worst team in FCS is this year, but like pick the worst team, and that's who they're gonna take off against. They're not gonna coach that game. No big deal.
All I know is that I saw an article or whatever. Michigan's been mid for forever, and then they'll have a scandal that gets them up where they win a national championship, whatever, and then they go back to being mid for another 20 years. So
Yeah,
I'm sure we're not going to worry about them for a while because they're back to mediocrity, and you know what? They can stay there.
I am curious to see how Underwood does there though. That's for sure because he's supposed to be very good.
Okay, I'm not rooting for any of them. They picked
Me
the wrong
neither.
school
Me
to go
neither.
to.
But I am curious to keep my eyes peeled on him. See how he does.
All right, well, with that, I think that's all we got for this week. We'll tune in next week. We should have Nick back. We'll be making our week one picks. It's a big week one. Enjoy week zero
Yeah,
because we get a little bit of taste of college football. But next week's where it really hits in. So
I
tune in.
can't wait.
We'll have some picks.
What a slate that week one is.
We're breaking out a brand new scoring system for our picks this year. I still have to finish out exactly how it's going to work and everything, but it's going to be, I think, give us an opportunity to really dive into some games that are just tantalizing. They're just gonna you're gonna look at that and be like, I want to sink my teeth into that game all week. So
I can't
keep an
wait.
eye out for that and enjoy the ride. Let's have a great college football season and go Tigers.
Go Irish.